Hey guys, Chris Ross here with 8 Digit Media. And for most financial advisors, getting to $100 million in assets under management is kind of like the first major big milestone that most people want to be able to reach. But for some people, this can be a very daunting task, not because they don't have the ability in order to close that amount of business. It's really going to come down to, for most advisors, being able to get in front of their ideal clients. So I have a step-by-step process that you can follow that will allow you to start from zero and go to $100 million in the next 24 months. Let's get into it. So the first step to generating $100 million in AUM in the next 24 months is going to be really understanding what is the big problem that you can solve for your ideal client profile. And the reason why we want to focus on big problem is because if your ideal client profile has a big problem, that means that they are more than likely have a burning desire to solve that particular issue, which also means that you don't have to do a lot of selling on the back end in order to get people to realize that they need to solve this particular problem. So let's just take taxes, for example, because this is a universal thing that a lot of high net worth individuals tend to want to solve. So if you're going to come at this from the tax angle or the tax planning perspective, this is a topic that is easily understandable. It doesn't require you to have to over educate your particular audience on what the tax implications are for someone who has saved several $1,000,000 and now they are trying to withdraw money from those accounts and live on that income. And because of that particular reason, this can be a very big problem for a lot of retirees that are going into retirement. If you focus on a big problem, whatever it is that it may be, and it's a problem that your ideal client knows the most about, it will be a much easier sale when it comes to the actual sales process and being able to capture the attention of your audience itself. So beyond understanding what the big problem and how it relates to your ideal client profile, the next thing that you want to think about is total addressable market. Now, this is going to come down to how many people you are going to target with your particular campaign. Now, I'm based here in Dallas, Texas, and while Texas is a very large state and there are a lot of high net worth individuals here, what would be even better for this particular campaign would be if I were targeting a nationwide audience. You see, if you're going to be using any kind of paid media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever the case may be, then that typically means that you're going to have more people who are likely experiencing that big problem that you're wanting to solve, which means that gives you more access to a larger pool of people, which also means that you can spend your money more efficiently on the paid media side. So if I was running a webinar, for example, and I was only wanting to target people that were in a 5-mile radius of Highland Park. So for those of you who don't know, Highland Park is where Jerry Jones lives, which means there are a lot of millionaires and billionaires there. While that is a target rich environment, the chances of me being able to acquire 30 clients from Highland Park is going to be very difficult, although these are what would be considered very ideal clients. Whereas if I was targeting the whole state or all of the United States for that matter, that's going to give me access to a much bigger pool of people, which also means that there won't be as much competition and I won't have to fight multiple other advisors for these exact same clients. This is also going to play into the idea of you really want to focus on the segment of the market that it is problem aware and solution aware. It's been stated several times that generally about 3 to 5% of the market is ready to buy at any given moment. So I would much rather be able to target 3 to 5% of an audience that's 20 million people versus 3 to 5% of an audience that's only, let's just say, maybe 5,000 people. So this is going to increase your chances of actually getting in front of your ideal client and then also them being willing to listen to what your solution is to that particular problem. Third in this series, as it relates to being able to get to $100 million in 24 months, is going to come down to the content that you need to present to your ideal client in order to do three things. You want to illuminate a problem, you want to educate them on the problem, and then you also want to convert them. And one of the best ways that you can do this is going to be webinars. Now, webinars are a great way in order to educate someone on a particular problem because it gives you the opportunity to go with more of a long form format. It doesn't have to be short content, and it gives people the option to either watch your content on demand, or perhaps you can schedule the webinar to occur on a certain day and a certain time. Whatever it is that you may use, whether it's going to be webinars or you're going to use YouTube or perhaps VSLs, the standard process or the way that you really want to go about this is you want to take your ideal problem and you want to look for ways that you can illuminate that problem, meaning you want to make this problem as big as it possibly can. So when it comes to taxes, while some people may only be concerned about the distributions from certain accounts that may trigger a tax consequence, there are more than one scenario to think about when it comes to taxes. So you could be talking about Medicare surcharges or IRMA or doing Roth conversions, RMDs, whatever the case may be. The point is you want to illuminate the problem, meaning you want to explore all the potential ways that this problem could prevent the person from achieving whatever their particular goal is. And once you have blown up the problem or made it big, you want to start to educate them on the solutions that are out there in order to help solve that particular problem. So once you've been able to lay out possible solutions, this is where you are going to start the process of helping people decide on which solution is going to be best for them. And this is what's going to lead to the conversion in this three-step process of being able to get to $100 million in AUM. So the fourth thing that you're going to need in this particular process is going to be a really dialed in virtual sales process. Now, again, being that you want to be able to target the largest segment of your audience, meaning if you're going to run a nationwide campaign, you really want to be able to handle as many sales in a virtual environment as you possibly can. Now, historically, financial advisors have always done sales in person, meaning people have traditionally come into the office in order to provide documentation, discuss different ways that the advisor can help them. But if you're going to scale and you want to make it a bit easier for you to do that, then virtual sales is going to have to be a part of your process. And historically, virtual sales will typically have a much lower conversion rate than what it would be if someone were to come into your office. And this is, again, one of the main reasons why you want to run with a much larger campaign, because let's say that you were doing in-person sales and someone comes into your office and you're able to close, let's just say 75% of everybody who shows up to your office. Well, on the virtual side of things, let's just say that number is only 25%. Well, while that's a lot less than what you would typically do when it comes to in-person sales, the fact that you're doing a nationwide campaign and you have access to millions of people, having a closing ratio of 25% is still going to yield you much better results in the long term. So having a virtual sales process that's going to give people the ability to schedule those consultations, conduct those right fit meetings, and also go through whatever planning process or however it is that you're going to onboard clients is going to be a crucial part in order to reaching that $100 million. And then the last part of this process is actually going to be something that advisors are generally really good at, and that's going to be the referral process or the referral part of this system. As we all know, referrals are a great source of clients, but because referrals are unpredictable, you can't order up a certain number of referrals per month. They will come naturally as a part of you automatically doing lead gen for yourself and systematically bringing in clients on a consistent basis. So in a plan that I actually put together on how you can get to $100 million in assets in 24 months, generally in order to do that, you're going to bring on about 30 new clients a year. And out of those 30 new clients, a certain percentage of those clients are naturally going to refer more business over to you. So you're really going to have a combination of having a systematic lead generation process that's going to consistently bring and new clients, and you're going to couple that with an existing referral system where those new clients are going to turn into referral sources for you as a result of your system that's in place. So that would be how you can go about generating $100 million in AUM in the next 24 months. And if you're looking for a very detailed plan on how you can pull this off, I've actually created one and I've left the link in the description below in this video. Feel free to check that out. and I walk you through the entire process all the way from day one, all the way to the end of the plan. And I go over metrics such as budgeting, what it's going to actually cost in order to run the campaign, how many consultations you would need to get, what percentage of those consultations are going to be qualified, the mixture of assets that a potential lead may have, and at what point you are going to actually break even when it comes to your marketing budget with this plan. So feel free to check that out below. Now that I've shared the 5 steps that's needed in order for you to get to $100 million in AUM in the next 24 months, I'd like to know what have some of you have done in order to get to $100 million yourself. Were you able to do this the old-fashioned way, where you were using mailers, you completely relied upon referrals? Were you using LinkedIn? Were you using YouTube? I'd love to know what your process is, and maybe we can share that information with some of the other viewers who are on the channel. So leave a comment below. I love to read it and I'd be happy to respond. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you on the next one.